Hi, Riverwood family. It's a joy to get out of our cars and be worshiping outside together, isn't it? Some of you have mentioned how great it feels to sing and to hear the rest of us singing with you. That said, I know that some of you have been asking, when are we going to return to services in the building? So I'd like to take a few minutes to give you some background on why we're taking our reentry process in stages, beginning with the drive-ins in the parking lot to worshiping on the grass now, and then moving forward. And how will we know that it's time to re-enter our building? Now, as I go on, I just want to point out that we as believers are called to obey and respect our governing authorities. That's part of our witness of Jesus Christ in our world. Along with that, we're called to care about our community and the health and well-being of people, in this case particularly people who are the most vulnerable in a situation like this. Now, with that in mind, the Minnesota Department of Health has guidelines in place for businesses, churches, and other organizations that are working to reopen. And by now, I'm sure you're very familiar with the steps that businesses have gone through. You've seen the arrows on the tile floors and the plexiglass shields and so forth. Well, there are guidelines for churches as well. And I'm not going to go through this in fine detail here, but I want to let you know about a few things that churches are expected to do if they're going to re-enter their buildings now. For one, churches that are re-entering now are expected to strongly encourage all their attenders to wear filtration masks. And if people come to the front door without masks, the church needs to provide a mask for them. Another very significant area that churches all over the country are talking about is what do we do for our kids when we come back inside? Children's ministry is one of the most important elements of any re-entry plan, and it's something that Pastor Andrew and the other leaders in children's ministries are working very hard on. And then for worship time, the Department of Health guidelines explain that singing expels respiratory droplets into the air more forcefully than regular conversation does, increasing the risk for those around. So churches that are meeting inside now are not to have congregational singing. That would include not having a live worship team up front. Our worship team would need to be pre-recorded in that case. Those are some of the aspects that have to do with our re-entry process. If you'd like to read more for yourself, you can access the Department of Health guidelines by going onto the web link that's on this email. Page 5 of that document details the things that I've mentioned here along with other guidelines. All that is to say that we're so grateful that we have the amazing property that we have that allows us to worship outside together. And the best course of action for now is to continue meeting outside for the present time. Our goal then is to move inside at a point when there are fewer limitations than there are now. Now that doesn't mean that we're standing still waiting for things to change. We're working to prepare ourselves for re-entry so that when the time is right, we'll be ready. For now, we invite you this coming Sunday to another morning of worship in the great outdoors. That's all for now. God bless you in His grace.